Hey, this is Dr. Martin. Today we're talking to Abbie Pinter, the afternoon co-op here at Auburn Optical. Super excited to have Abbie talking today about something very near and dear to my heart. She's going to be talking about sleep deprivation and its effects. All right, Abbie Pinter, take us away.
Alright, so sleep deprivation. So sleep deprivation is when the individual does not get the proper amount of sleep that they need. The important thing to realize about this though is that depending on your age, you might need more sleep than someone else. So if you're a toddler, you might need 11 to 14 hours of sleep. However, if you're an adult, you might only need 7 to 9 hours of sleep. So it's really important to know which category you fall in and how much sleep you should be getting each night. So some basic effects of sleep deprivation, there's going to be like daytime sleepiness, irritability, fatigue, depressed mood, lack of motivation, forgetfulness, difficulty learning, increased appetite towards like salty foods and carbohydrates. I think a lot of this people already know, so in this presentation I'm going to kind of focus on some new research that scientists are coming out with and some studies just to show the major effects of sleep deprivation on our bodies. So the effects on learning. So research is now showing that we need the proper amount of sleep before and after we learn, and this is because like how you learn and memory occurs in 3 steps. So we have acquisition, which is the actual learning of the knowledge. We have consolidation, which is when the knowledge becomes stable in our minds, and then we have recall, and that's when we actually can recall the information. So consolidation, the middle step happens when we sleep. So the memory neuron connections are going to strengthen when we sleep, and not only that, but your short-term memories when you sleep become long-term memories because they're transferred into the cortex. So not only does this make it easier for you to recall the information, but your short-term memory is turned into long-term, which opens up a space for new short-term memories. So not only that, but the hippocampus, which is the memory center of the brain, also, if you're sleep deprived, it becomes very fatigued and it's hard to kind of function properly. So the effects on education. So several counties across the United States have decided to start school times later in the day. So one of the first counties to do this was in Edina, Minnesota. So what they did here, they had a school start time of 7:25 a.m. and they changed it to 8:30 a.m. So how they measured the effects of this was through the SAT. So they took the top 10% of the students who arguably had the least to gain from more sleep because they were already at the top of their class, and they had them take the SAT the year they started at 7:25, and they scored an average of 1288. They then had them take the SAT a year later at the start time of 8:30, and they had an average SAT score of 1500. Now, of course, this could be due to other effects, but because so many counties are doing it and they're all seeing the same effects, it's hard to ignore that sleep deprivation could have an effect on this.
It's a big jump.
Yeah. Also in Edina, Minnesota, not only did grades increase, but behavioral problems decreased, truancy rates decreased, and psychological problems decreased. And so when the CDC saw this information, they decided to perform a study based on 12,154 students across the United States. And just one of their findings in this, they found that students who got less than 8 hours of sleep on average, 24% of them smoked at least 1 cigarette per day. And then they found that students that got 8 hours of sleep on average or more, only 15% of them smoked 1 cigarette per day. So you can just see a little bit of the behavioral aspect in there.
Wow, that's another big jump.
Yeah. So another study I kind of want to focus on, this was another county that decided, actually 2 counties that decided to change their start times, and this, instead of looking at the SAT, they decided to look at the car crash rates. So Robert Verona, he is a sleep doctor at Eastern Virginia Medical School. He worked with the Virginia DMV, and he tracked 2 counties. He tracked Virginia Beach County in Virginia, and then Chesapeake County. And Virginia Beach County had a start time of 7:20 a.m. in the morning, and then Chesapeake County had a start time of 8:40 in the morning, so just over an hour difference. And they tracked the students that were 16 through 18, so the later teens, and they found that in Virginia Beach County, with the earlier start time, there was 65.4 crashes for every 1,000 students, and then they found in the Chesapeake County there was only 46.2 car crashes per every 1,000 students. So that's a 40% increase with just over that hour of time difference in the car crash rates. Then another quick study that did a similar thing like this in Fayette County, Kentucky. They had a start time of 7:30 a.m. and switched it to 8:30 a.m. and they saw a 16% decrease in car crashes.
Again, big number.
Teens. All right, so now I'm going to kind of focus on the neurological aspects of this. So the amygdala houses a lot of our emotions like fear and anxiety, and so this was a study where they had a sleep control group that got their full 8 hours of sleep, so they were adults and they got their the full required amount of sleep, and then we had a sleep deprivation group that didn't get any sleep at all. So after they did this for just one night, they had them go in an MRI, and they found that in the sleep control group, the amygdala, their peak amygdala response was pretty controlled, as you can see in the circles. It's not highlighted like a lot. But then they found in the sleep deprivation group, their peak amygdala response was way higher than in the control group. So the effects of this basically is that throughout the day, the sleep deprivation group is going to be making decisions based on fear and anxiety just because they can't really keep their emotions in check just because they've been sleep deprived. And then this is a study that I found kind of interesting from the University of Michigan, and they realized that about 1.6 billion people over 70 countries all experience daylight savings time. So they decided to do this study in 2014, and they did it over the course of a couple of years, and they tracked the Monday after they had a change in the daylight savings time, the heart attack rates. So in the spring, when we lost an hour of sleep, they found an average of a 24% increase in heart attacks. Then they compared that to in the fall, when we gained an hour of sleep, that Monday after, they saw a 21% decrease in heart attacks. Again, this could have many other factors relating to it, but since they tracked it for a couple of years, they think that there has to be some relation between the sleep deprivation.
That's cool.
And then I want to talk a little bit about the immune system. So the immune system, we every day produce natural killer cells, which are cells that target foreign bodies that could be potentially dangerous to us. And we also produce cancer cells every day. It's just natural to our bodies. Now, the natural killer cells help kill these cancer cells into what we know as cancer, and so we don't get cancer and everything. But these natural killer cells, as you can see, are quite important. So Dr. Mike Irwin decided to conduct a study where he had a group of adults that restricted their sleep to 4 hours in just one night. So they got about half of the amount of sleep that they should have been getting. And he found the next day that there was a 70% decrease in the natural killer cell activity. So you can see in just one night how much of an effect that has on our bodies, and you can see that over many days of poor sleep that could have many more effects on us. Now, the World Health Organization has seen this strong link between cancer and sleep deprivation, and they think it's so strong that they've decided to classify any nighttime shift work as a possible carcinogen.
Wow.
And this is because we're disrupting the natural circadian rhythm of our bodies, and they're being sleep deprived.
Wow, so circadian rhythms, when they're disrupted, are a carcinogen. That is crazy.
Yep. So basically the point of this is a lot of this is still developing, so it's not totally clarified yet and everything, but that we know sleep is a biological necessity, and I think we don't realize how much it has the effects on our bodies, and we need to get all the sleep that we can get. And then here are my resources.
That was fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.